Gundam Breaker Mobile. It was a divisive game, to be sure. Starting out its life in July 30th, 2019, it takes the Gundam Breaker formula of building, painting, and battling with custom kit bash creations, while adding a gacha system and the typical features that come in a combat gacha game, like power creep and a rock, paper, scissors type attribute system, while the dating sim-like story was nothing to write home about. However, despite the mixed reception, it does have a respectable fanbase, and even more so for the original creations. Which is why I have decided to take advantage of the recent Gundam G-Cell Perfect Pack reissue and create one of the game's most iconic and major opponents in real life, the Code Phi. Based on the high-grade Gundam G self, it also uses parts from the Unicorn Gundam Banshee to achieve its looks, with a black and grey paint scheme that creates an edgy aesthetic, while the glowing elements and patterns on the face and chest adds some unique flair and breaks up the otherwise monotone palette. Being Toma Aizen's personal machine, it was regarded as one of the strongest gunpla that participated in the inter-high school tournament, but ultimately suffered multiple defeats at the hands of the player character. It was later given an upgrade by Yotsuba Electric in the form of the Perfect Pack and an AI support program, giving it enough strength to defeat the player in practice until Toma's pride dissuaded him from the use of the AI. The Code Phi suffered a further loss before being repossessed by Yotsuba Electric to hide the AI from scrutiny. It was most notably armed with the beam scythe from the Gundam Death Scythe, capable of firing off beam slashes, and the beam sabers in its clavicles, most famously used for its assassination finisher move, though it does not slack in firepower as it carries a beam rifle, beam falcons in its head, and the Perfect Pack, photon torpedoes, beam cannons, and traffic fins included. Aside from the material gunpla parts, I used a black primer for the black parts, a black-grey for the majority of the body, a color derived from the Gundam Farak's body color except with added purple for the feet and surface of the binders, and from there I added wine red and black for the color of the torso and the main body of the Perfect Pack. For the glowing bits, I used fluorescent blue and yellow markers from Molotov, while those located on the dark pieces of the body, I used the Chrome Gundam marker as a base color just so the marker inks, which are relatively transparent, can at least show up. And despite how messy working with those markers are, I'm glad with how things turned out. Granted, the hand-painted sections were a bit sloppy, especially around the skirts and traffic fins, but I still think it turned out fine. I think it reflected the subtlety in the color tones well, and perhaps the same applies to the face and chest patterns, but I don't want to toot my own horn too much. The one thing that I am disappointed about this build is that the kit only really shines under UV light. The face patterns especially are nigh invisible under normal light, and with the design being so dark, it just lacks the kind of light to elevate the aesthetics. However, with a UV light in hand, this is the effect, and I'm absolutely satisfied with how that turned out, but feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Gundam Breaker Mobile was a fun yet frustrating game at the same time. Despite it carrying the same gacha game and school life RPG tropes, and by no means is it the best and most engaging game ever, but I still enjoyed it all the same, especially when it gave us model kits that we may never see in real life, some awesome original designs we can try to replicate, and appreciable original kits in the form of the Breaker Battle Log designs. Alas, we've all seen the game's end from a mile away when they did the bi-weekly updates and rehashes of previous units to fill the time, and regretfully they tell us, but firmly they compel us, to say goodbye to it and all of our creations within the game. As such, my Code Phi build serves as a memento to Gundam Breaker Mobile. For all of its flaws, it shall be remembered fondly and missed dearly. Until next time, Gundam Breaker.